Good morning and thank you for watching. This is Richard Ponce of RCP Accounting and Tax. Happy New Year. Today is December 31st, 2025. One of the things I wanted to do is get everybody, my audience, and all those out there that would want to become part of my audience, a quick rundown of what's important for 2025 tax returns starting in 2026. I call it Intro to Tax Preparedness. Let me tell you, the company itself was founded in 2015 by myself and my wife. We're based in Los Angeles, California. We offer tax preparation and representation for individuals, trusts, LLCs, businesses, and corporations. The goal of our company is to provide the best quality service possible at a reasonable price. In order to accomplish this, we want you to meet your goals by preparing you, the taxpayer, with all the documents and tools you need to have a great and pleasant experience this tax season, which is probably hard to believe. Let's chat about that. Item A, documents needed to prepare your tax returns. The most important document needed to prepare your returns is your prior tax return. Any prior year would work, but most likely it'd be the most recent one. That would really make it a lot easier and a lot simpler to get your taxes done correctly. We always talk about what has changed since the prior year, and be surprised how many people do not recall everything that happened in the previous 12 months. Number two, any forms W-2, which you would get from your employer if you're an employee, and any forms 1099. Let me talk about your 1099 shortly, but the W-2 generally will show how much you made on a gross amount, your withholdings for the federal withhold taxes, your Medicare withholding, and your Social Security withholding. There might be some other withholdings, which special codes like any type of benefits you got from your employer, maybe your health care payment, maybe your retirement plan contributions, things of that nature. So please remember to bring your W-2. Some states do have withholding, so we need to see the full W-2 to make sure we tell the states how much they withheld so as to submit a complete tax return that's accurate. Let's talk about other things like 1099s. There's a few of them, so let me go through them in an alphabetical order. The first one would be the 1099B, which generally tells your tax preparer what interest, capital gains, and dividends you got, and maybe some other charges that were charged by your broker dealer to maintain your brokerage account. Make sure you bring that. A 1099C is not a very good 1099 to receive because it'll show what your creditor has forgiven in the last year relating to debts, which becomes debt forgiveness income. Sometimes we could write those off, sometimes we cannot. It'll affect your income tax in many different ways, which if you don't bring that, you don't want a surprise from the IRS or the state saying you didn't disclose all your income. Another one that's coming up that's new for 2025 is the 1099-DA. If you're engaging in purchasing and selling digital assets, you're going to get something to that effect to report, sales or any kind of movement in digital assets. 1099 DIV, those would come from companies where you have money directly invested with them, like a stock program through a company, a public company, or maybe just a mutual fund company. They'll send you something showing what your dividend income is, and that's important too, because some people invest in tax-free investments, and those investment dividends are generally not taxed if it's done right. There's a 1099K, which is generally sent to you if you have a business and you use credit cards to receive payments. As a common example would be people that drive for Uber or use Square or Toast to receive income. So don't lose those. There's 1099 miscellaneous. I've seen these when people have rental properties or royalties. Some people might be musicians, have some old music that was recorded or something to that effect, and they would have a 1099 MISC. There's a 1099 NEC when you're non-employee compensation. You might be an independent contractor, and there's some expenses we could write off on that, so please bring those. The IRS certainly has those. And then there's the 1099-R. And that one is used generally to report when you take money out of a retirement plan and perhaps you moved it to a different retirement plan in general. That means you probably won't have a tax. However, if you're under 59 and a half and you're taking money out of a retirement plan, there's a possibility that you'll have to pay a tax on that, and also the government may impose a penalty. But please do not misplace those and bring those to the meeting when you're ready to do your taxes. There's also a form that's important. It's a 1095A. If you are using Obamacare for healthcare, you're definitely going to need that to do your taxes right. I've had clients come in without that and the taxes get rejected because it's missing. Please make sure you look for that. In California, it's under Covered California. In whatever state you're in, if you're under Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, you should be able to get that form. It's usually page 3 of the document that they send out for taxes. And again, I always say any other documents you deem are important, it's that, like they say, it's better to have and not need than need and not have. So you have documents you think are important, please bring them to your tax meeting. Again, we don't want to guess with the tax authorities what information they have. There may be a way, if you reach out to me in an email, I will send you a link to the IRS website where you can pick up a copy of your earnings record for any particular year, so we could always compare that to what the IRS has and what you have, so you'd be more accurate with them if you want to use that word. Okay, and finally, call your office for an appointment. Please do not walk in. We do not do walk-in appointments here. We do need at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to do your taxes right, in particular if you have more than one tax return to prepare. One of the downfalls to my popularity has been where I believe I'm only getting one tax return to prepare and 3 people show up, and that really takes away my time. So I don't want to do that. I would prefer to do a very good job and get to know my clients and be able to communicate with them all the changes that have happened in my professional career and in my personal life relating to family and things like that. And it's a lot better when we have a good, hour and a half to 2 hours to do the work. All right, again, this is Richard Ponce with RCP Accounting and Tax Services. If you need to make a call to make an appointment, you may call me at 323-446-2780. Again, the phone number is 323-446-2780. We do have some fax numbers that I will put in the post and an e-fax. The email here is either info@rcptax.com or directly to me, rcp@rcptax.com. If you so choose, I would rather create a team folder for us on Dropbox, which is more secure than my email. Even though my email is encrypted, it would be a lot easier for me to receive and send documents to you in that fashion. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you found this educational and entertaining. Please leave comments relating to what topics you would like to see in future episodes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Happy New Year.